Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, whichever is currently applicable in your time zone. Today I will be doing a small showcase of my 5th generation code. So, let us start with basics. And unfortunately, this showcase is slightly overdue. Nonetheless, I will try to show you how it works. Okay, first things first, the whole code base is based around the command center. We can see here a small behavior controller that will cycle through the data. Nonetheless, what I did here is I've created a set of resource control centers, as you can see, those, and one mining headquarters that will basically manage the mining teams. What I can do now is start mining team requester and start the game up. As you can see, it will first gather some resources to the headquarters, and it will build a command unit. First, we built the mining foreman, specifically 3 of them, as we have 2 running up resource control centers, and the mining foreman will assign itself to the correct and go to the nearest either visible resource or, without that, to one of the beacons which has the marker of the resource, such as this one. In the meantime, our factory will produce another one, and once this second is done, this one for crystal, it will create one more. The third resource foreman will be basically prepared to be assigned in the case of destruction of the foreman or in the case of a new resource added. Nonetheless, for now we will stay with 2 of them. As you can see, the second gets assigned and off we go. We will stay with 2 resources for now, just to showcase the few more functions. So, once the foreman is done, the third one, it will not be assigned, as the third ore is not being mined right now. I will show you later on how to add basically new resource in case of this one. It will basically be quite boring, as it's just load up the behavior. Nonetheless, I would like to show you that even after that, the miners will be built, haulers will be made as needed. We can see one hauler here. It's currently waiting for a command. Currently, none of the mining foremen is full, so it does nothing. It seems that it got stuck for some reason. I quickly refreshed it. I'm not sure what is the reason for that stucking. Anyway, as you can see, this foreman is not being assigned, so we go onwards to the miner. Here I will show you 2 functions of the miner. First is, as I've said, it's a miner, but as you can see, the miner currently has no mining unit. What it will do is it will request a mining head, as you can see here, and automatically assign itself to the specific resource, and off we go to mine. There's one more trick. Let me quickly find a miner with advanced head. Here it is. This is the first generation. It is not automated, and as such will be removed once the necessary resources are fulfilled. So let us take laser mining tool out of it. This one already found that wait, we have advanced mining tool. Let's grab it. And so it grabbed the better one. We will be able to see that our miners here will move as soon as this node gets mined out. Unfortunately, some of them, basically Metal Miner 1s, as you can see, are not within the 5th generation code, and as such they will get stuck here. We will see that quite shortly. And frankly, I'm currently trying to wait a bit. As you can see, it found a new source, new beacon, and off we go. Now, I would like to show you one thing as well. However, for that, I'm afraid I will have to wait until our miner gets filled. Luckily, it's advanced mining tool, so it won't be that big of a deal. In the meantime, we will wait a bit. Right, that reminds me, I completely forgot to add assembly of mining lasers. Now, as there are no mining lasers in the faction, our command center skipped miner production, just so it doesn't get stuck or gets filled by requests to get more mining lasers while there are none available at all. Nonetheless, we will take a look right now here. This hauler, as soon as this miner drops its resources into mining foreman, which is used as relay, will get assigned, and it will go first to mining foreman and then drop all of that into resource storage. Unfortunately, due to how it's coded, the assignment time takes some time, unfortunately. Unless it gets completely stuck. Just in case, let me quickly restart it to make it faster. Okay, this way it doesn't try to go through every single resource that we don't have yet, so it was much faster. Nonetheless, it will go next to drop off and then drop it off if there are not too many bots near it. It also grabbed for itself a small storage that I happened to have apparently, and now it will wait until this one is full. In the meantime, we can see that another miner is being built. And apparently there was a miner that still mined something around here. So once it was dropping its load into mining foreman, it's changed its position. Now, once there's sufficient amount of metal, basically I believe it's around above 50%, and the mining foreman is full, the next assignment will go to the crystal. Now, let me quickly show you how to add one more resource. Basically, you slap on resource control center and resource storage system. Basically a drop-off container. You start both up and wait. The third resource that I deemed most important is, as you can see, silica, and well, it got assigned. Here you can see that there's mining power supplier. At least one of them tends to get into the new resource. It's by design, just to allow our mining foremans to operate beyond the grid. Anyway, waiting until it gets a bit more filled would be quite boring. So let me quickly show you an example of migration. What you can see here is basically the same thing. We have multiple miners mining crystal this time. You can see that in this save our foreman was closer to bottom metal ore, but let us focus on this one. Here we have a miner, mining foreman, the same thing. That's mining silica. As you can see, it will quickly move on. As this one is mining and will move all the way to the nearest marker beacon. Here. Let me quickly show you what happens if there are enemies nearby. In the base, there are a few turreted units. Frankly speaking, these units are a little older than the 5th generation, nonetheless work in a similar way. So, let me grab quickly Silica, as that's the guy we are interested in right now. And let us go to Plateau here. I will quickly grab it. Let it move a bit. And as you can see, our mining foreman detected the enemy. So, our combat units go all the way to remove the threat. They are hit and run. And as you can see, as the enemies got close, our mining foreman decided it won't stay here. It decided to run away and go on with the process of getting new mining target again. This way, both the defense units are operating as intended and the miners are relatively safe. This in turn means that if there were enemies that got close to this bunch, they will also run away. So that's basically how our miners work. As you can see here, the haulers will wait until they are empty, here at least, or full next to the miner. And let's move onwards. Let's go to the automated factory and auto-expanding. Let me quickly go forward a bit, just to make it easier, as we will have more resources and we are prepared for factory, just to reduce the amount of waiting we will do. I will also quickly clean up the designs, as this is a save that will be provided later on to the devs in the case they want it. Nonetheless, I will show you first how it works. So, we have a auto-expanding factory core beacon. If we turn off or remove the resources that we want to make, it will do basically nothing. You in fact saw some of them before. However, once we choose a resource, for example metal bar, it will analyze the resource and create a small factory. Now, admittedly, this is the old version of the design and was more of a proof of work rather than actual usable element, and as such it will be slightly, well, extremely inefficient. Nonetheless, it works. So, what it will do, it will grab both factory expander, this one will basically expand the factory as needed, and a mass freighter. Mass freighter will basically move resources to places that are needed. Now, basically what it will do is whenever there's sufficient resources in the storage system, it will move it to the resource that needs this. the factory that needs this resource. Once there's sufficient buildup in the buffer, in this case requester, and there's insufficient resources in the output, it will request the expander to increase the size of the factory. As you can see, that's what's happening right now. First, our conveyor of sorts are getting expanded, and now if the requirements are still fulfilled, a factory expander will get here. Let me quickly check. No, the requirements are not fulfilled right now because it has not enough metal ore. For some reason, this hauler got stuck, so I helped him. I'm not sure what was the reason of getting stuck, but I guess this might be due to being old code, really. Nonetheless, let's quickly wait until we have fulfilled the requirement of having more ore and not enough bars. And we can see that factory got expanded. Now, for now, the factory cores do not select resources by themselves. Nonetheless, just to skip on waiting, let me quickly load up a bit later. So, once we've waited for the factory a bit, we can see it looks like this. It's working the same way as I just described. We can see mass writers doing their thing. As the resources build up, the demand for expansion gets removed in this case, and as you can see, sorry for the cut, and as you can see, it does its work. Now, what if we want to add one more resource to the production? For example, I do not see here what will be used, for example, in the future production. So, let's simply grab research data. We will need them. And, as you can see, it did what it needs. It selected the required resource. And this is all nice and good, but what's the trick here? Well, there's one more feature of this system that I would like to show you. Now, unfortunately, the build-ups here are sometimes extremely atrocious, and it will be fixed in the next version. Nonetheless, there's one more feature I would like to show you. One common issue that players have when playing Desynced is virus. Luckily, it is possible, if you have units with behavior controllers, to make yourself nearly immune to it. There we go. So I grabbed my virus, and I will quickly. As you can see, it has virus. I will show you that the base doesn't really care. And that's also the way you can easily check whether the design you're looking at is the 5th generation or previous generation. Basically, 5th generation and above will not care at all. Unfortunately, the rate of infection is slightly slow. Well, fortunately for most people, really. Nonetheless, you can see that some of them were not designed with. Right, mining team requester has to be running for the 5th generation to work as intended. Nonetheless, you can see that these are temporary smelters and they were powered down. At the same time, you can see that this is current generation and it doesn't care. Haulers are hauling. So, how resistant is it? Well, let me grab into virus resistance showcase. And here you can see basically everything being infected. Well, the metal isn't really being used right now, so I will increase the demand for it shortly. Nonetheless, crystal is going on its business as usual. Mining here, no one cares. And as we seem to be lacking, let me quickly check, as we seem to be lacking cables. I don't think I have cable factory right now. So in this extremely virused, yeah, here's one. Anyway, let me quickly use it and basically show you that expansion isn't affected at all by the virus either. Luckily, we have enough resources not to care. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this short showcase. Unfortunately, I will be removing it. I will dump the copies of these blueprints, these main blueprints, and that is mining team and the factories. And I will start working on the 6th generation in the nearest future. However, unfortunately, due to my work time, the time of release may be a bit sketchy at times. And just for the record, I will try to record every step of the 6th generation rewrite, as frankly I will be moving from decimal codes, such as here, to binary, just to improve the efficiency. Anyway, if you see any questions or want to know any module of those, let me know. I will try to explain it if it is not yet created in the recording. Nonetheless, have a great day and see you later.